There are 10 members on the House Chair, and there are 57 online, 67 in total voting against.
We vote in favor of the motion.
MPs vote on closing down the Israeli embassy and cutting diplomatic relations. Murder-accused TV presenter Xolani Khumalo faces 2 more charges.
KZN is a lot more tolerant of individual difference.
DA's popular Papas fobs off bullying over his sexuality. Oscar winner superstar Forrest Whitaker brings basketball to Athlone in Cape Town. Hello, I'm Jane Dutton. Good to have you with us.
This is Eyewitness News.
Adding to the growing tensions between South Africa and Israel, MPs have voted on the motion proposed by the EFF to shut down the Israeli embassy in South Africa and cut diplomatic relations.
Honourable members, the outcome of the division is as follows. There's no abstentions, 91 voted against, and 248 voted in favour, and the motion as amended is accordingly agreed to.
Free
Honourable members,
Palestine!
From the river to the sea,
Palestine will be free.
Free Palestine!
The South African Jewish Board of Deputies has weighed in on Israel's decision to recall its ambassador to South Africa.
It is a great pity that the hostility towards the Israeli ambassador in South Africa has resulted in the withdrawal of the Israeli ambassador back to Jerusalem for consultation. This takes place against the background of a sustained campaign of demonization and bullying of the Israeli ambassador by the ANC, the South African ruling party, and the South African government in a way that was unconducive to dialogue and engagement.
South Africa also recently recalled its own Tel Aviv-based diplomats for consultation. This comes as Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh said that Hamas is close to a truce agreement with Israel. This also happened today.
The matter is removed from the courtroom. Should the matter be reinstated, a written instruction from the NDPP must be obtained. That's order of the court. Thank you.
Koko has described the allegations against him as serious and said the public expects that they must be answered.
I think we're taking South Africans for a ride. The National Prosecuting Authority is doing South Africans a big disservice.
He further describes his prosecution as a hate crime, insisting it was manufactured in a bid to justify his dismissal from ESCOM.
You can't make such allegations. Investigate them for more than 5 years. Bring me to court. Wake me up at 6 o'clock in the morning. More than 12 months later, you're not ready to go to trial. What we see here is hate crime.
It's not necessarily the end of the matter, with the state still able to reinstate the case at a later stage, as long as it gets written instructions from the National Director of Public Prosecutions. But Koko maintains that if and when that happens, he's ready. Bernadette Wicks, Eyewitness News at the Middelburg Regional Court.
The DA's Christopher Papas has shrugged off homophobic comments made about him as he campaigns to become the next Premier of KwaZulu-Natal. In a recent protest by the KZN ANC Youth League, its members carried homophobic posters as they chanted and made discriminatory remarks. While in his own party, former DA MP and long-serving member Graham McIntosh resigned, expressing disappointment at the party choosing a gay man to represent KZN and said Papas's sexuality would turn black voters in rural KZN away.
But I think the reality is in KZN is that there are so many differences between people, whether it is religious, whether they're intricate cultural issues, whether it's sexuality issues, that KZN is a lot more tolerant of individual difference.
And while government defends its cadre policy and says there's nothing wrong with it, Papas disagrees.
So cadre deployment has really, and it's one of the biggest challenges that we face in Umgeni, is to try and create the mechanism of delivery. So you can have great policies, you can have great plans, and the mechanism is the government officials. So that's a big problem. We have an incapable state.
The state has added 2 more charges against the murder-accused former television presenter Xolani Khumalo. Khumalo is now facing additional charges of robbery with aggravating circumstances and malicious damage to property. It's alleged that on the 19th of July, Khumalo and his Sizokotolo TV crew beat Robert Vari to death at his Katlehong home during the taping of an unaired episode of the show. Khumalo made a brief appearance at the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court in Katlehong today. The matter has been postponed to the 22nd of February for further investigations. Transnet says it'll take months to clear the backlog at its ports. 70,000 containers have been stuck at the Durban port with an expected 21 days before offloading can take place. The state-owned enterprise says it hasn't kept up with the maintenance of some of its equipment at ports, reducing its lifespan. This is just one of the contributing factors to the massive backlog. Transnet says while the underinvestment in equipment has also contributed to this backlog, there have been other challenges too beyond its control.
We've been engaging with the National Treasury for some time now. As you've indicated, you cannot have normal business processes apply in a situation where, strictly speaking, you are at war, right? Rome is burning and you need to get out of the situation you are in as a matter of urgency.
Parliament's disciplinary hearings against 6 EFF MPs, including leader Julius Malema, for storming the stage during the State of the Nation address in February, continued in their absence. Malema abandoned the hearings on Monday.
So we submit that an appropriate sanction would be for those 6 affected members to miss out on Senate 2024, so that an appropriate sanction would 12.5G, suspend the 6 affected members with or without remuneration for those 10 days.
From the big screen to Athlone in Cape Town, Oscar winner and social activist Forrest Whitaker unveiled a basketball court at the Cornflower Sports Ground. The Whitaker Peace and Development Initiative is a non-profit organisation that assists communities and youth impacted by conflict and violence to drive peace, reconciliation and social development. And that's all from me. I'll see you for more again tomorrow. Remember to like and subscribe.
Eyewitness News. In touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, log on to ewn.co.za or ewn.mobi.